first from city staff and board identification. Bob Goldman, y'all know Bob. Scott Schernicke, is that close? Schernicke, I'm sorry. And Darius?
Yeah, Darius Dunn.
New operations manager at the venue group. So obviously they're available for any questions you might have. What was the last time we were in here? Was it the last time we were in here? It was they didn't have the seats in yet, right? Right. I think they were just getting ready to pour the floor. These go in both directions, so you know, for the hour leading up to the opening of the event, they're all heading up. When the event's improvement over what exists at Roberts, both you know, in the number of concession stands, the offerings, the number of bathrooms. You know, those are all important things to make sure you have the best fan experience possible.
Previously, we talked about bringing in local food for the concession stands. Any developments on that?
Yes. I don't know, Scott, if I know you've been, Venue Works has been talking to folks. But
local vendors and talking with them about probably taking mostly portables.
I'm sorry, I just wanted to look at quick. What's your name again?
Scott Schernicke, I'm the executive director for the facility.
Can you just spell your name for me?
It's SCHOENIKE, Scott with 2 T's.
Okay. Development on local food vendors.
Yeah, well, we've been talking with a number of local vendors and some restaurant owners on including some of their fare and them coming out and selling in a variety of areas around the building to help out and put more of a local flair in there.
Can you give any names?
You know, we've been discussing with Taroni's and Acropolis, and those would be some of the other, those are the 2 main ones we're kind of further down the road with.
Okay. Any contracts awarded yet?
Nope.
Okay. All right, thanks.
This is going to glow. You're going to have lights on. You're walking up to this facility. When it's dark, I mean, it's going to be a pretty spectacular view from the outside, and of course, looking out into downtown, you know, there are windows everywhere you'll be able to see in every direction.
Now, along with it being lit and such, it's also going to be pretty secure as far as mainly basically lit up enough that you don't have to walk in the dark between the parking lot here, right?
Oh, absolutely. Well, you can see the street lights. They extend all the way down to the surface lot there, and of course there's street lights that are between here and all the 3 city parking garages and other parking facilities. The pedestrian crosswalk, that crosswalk would connect right there towards the back of the building there. So obviously it's filled in right now, but it'll be very easy to make that connection, and it's designed for that purpose. The now defunct Executive Inn, and then over to the new hotel that will be built.
How's your family setting? Good. They're all here now.
Will look like for a concert. As we've talked about before, this is shaped kind of in a U with the concert stage being right down here at this end. Now there will be portable seating that will extend out for basketball, for hockey, for any event that doesn't need to have a stage at one end. But when you do have a concert, there really are very few permanent seats that are blacked out. At Roberts, you're blacking out a good 25% or almost a third of the available seats because you have full seating all the way around the bowl. And here, we just have a few hundred seats that are actually behind the stage and can be blacked out. So that'll make a big difference and will allow us to have concerts where you know, we're going to be able to host a lot more people than what Roberts can do today for a concert.
Yeah.
Well, the seats are in. This is the permanent concrete floor that's been put in place. Oh God, you know, the drywall in the back, a lot of the framing that's up along the sides. They've started a lot of the finishing work. Obviously, you saw the bathrooms and the concessions, but I assume we're well underway in the suites, some of the finishing work.
Yeah, speaking of which, I know that's the lower bowl.
Seating, that's okay. You take the from the floor on up, the blue seats that you see that are in place, that's basically the main bowl. Above that, you can see, well, here, like this portion that's kind of set aside, that's loge seating. And then above it, on this row, are the suites.
Okay.
So the suites are all along this side and all along the other.
And then the very top near the roof, is that where the press box and such will be at?
That's where the media will be sent.
Okay.
Kind of
Quarantine.
kind of exiled, yeah.
Well.
Yeah, the
That's right.
How many can fit on the floor?
No, 1,800. Depends a little on fire code issues.
And how many suites are there again?
There are 16 suites,
And how many people can be in a suite?
about 20. Now, one of those is one of the 16 is a double wide, and then there's an additional room that's for rent.
John, could you cover one more time the different kinds of seats and total numbers?
You've got the fixed seating, which are the blue ones, and then the retractables at both levels, about 9,000. And then you can put in temporary seats on the floor for concerts and some seats for basketball.
Into the suites we go. And somebody said, sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're sweet.
This is a view from the suites. Scott, correct me if I'm, or Joe, there are 12 seats here,
Yeah, there's
correct?
6 in the lower level here, 6 where we're standing right now. And there's a drink rail behind these 6 seats. And there'll be 4 bar stools here. I think there's 16 total ticketed positions. And then
16 seats and then 4 standing room only.
Well,
It's been very, very well received by the city.
When you say sold out, what do you mean by
All
that?
these are licensed, all the suites here are licensed on an annual basis.
Annual.
And actually, they're all on 3- and 5-year contracts, so.
So all of them are taken up for the
Yep.
3 or 5 years?
What's the asking price on a suite?
16. It's $36,500 or $55,000 for an inclusive. So.
Inclusive being
one
what?
year.
Tickets
Okay.
for per year, yes.
very, you can actually see the 2 city parking garages. You can actually see them from here, or at least actually from the concourse level, you'll be able to easily see them. And then, of course, from the other side, you can also see the Sycamore parking garage.
How many parking seats near the stadium?
You know, we have looked at between what the surface parking that's in the back 40, additional public lots that are publicly controlled, the 3 city parking garages. We have roughly the same number of parking spaces that are currently available at Roberts. So that's just the publicly controlled parking spaces. So there's all kinds of private parking that's also available. Like, for example, the old National Bank building, if people wanted to park there, that would be an option.
Stage area.
That's on me. Mike's still looking fine. Yeah, it's cool.
Goldman is a longtime local downtown supporter. Some of your thoughts as we get closer and closer and we see what it looks like?
It's all very exciting. Couldn't be happier that it's downtown, of course, but I think it's regardless of the location, it's tremendous for the city. I mean, you can't help but feel excited, I'm sure. And regardless of the location, it's just terrific.
And we talked about naming rights. Can you just tell me what the status is on that? Have we had any big companies come forward or anything like that?
Well, we've heard from I want to say we have one offer and a couple of strong possibilities, and we're looking to make sure that we can get the price that we think is appropriate for the value presented with the naming rights and the advertising rights for this arena. So we're still negotiating.
Any names you can get there? Okay. All right. I think that might be it. Just give me just a second. Let me see. I think I might have hit on my others. Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
That's great. Thank you.
Mayor, are you giving a ballpark on what you hope the naming rights would bring in?
I would defer to Scott on that with VenueWorks. He's the one negotiating on behalf of the city. So.
That financing has been solidified for the new hotel?
Yes, we feel pretty comfortable that they have the financing put together, and it's a matter of working out the details of that, and of course taking care of the internal reorganization of the company.
So what will take place on June 30th in front of the Redevelopment Commission? An extension for the discussion phase, since the paperwork hasn't been completed?
We would hope that there would be a presentation. Look, this is the financing package. This is what we have in place. We're ready to go once we receive approvals from the City Council Redevelopment Commission, because they're not going to be able to secure a loan until City Council actually acts on the tax phase-in that's promised, the actual loan that's promised. I mean, so those are the things that have to happen before they can close. But ideally, what we're going to see by June 30th is a presentation from Kunkel laying it all out about how it's financed, the cost of their money, who they're borrowing it from, the equity they're presenting.
Okay.
But that financing seems, can you go ahead at this point?
From the documentation we have seen, that they've been able to secure the mortgage and be able to provide the equity that we're demanding.
Can we go ahead and move on, guys?
Perspective of I think how good the seating and how the sight lines are, and there really isn't a bad seat in the house.
Are the seats up here going to be the exact same?
Bowl. There is ADA seating in the center of the building at the midpoint of the upper bowl, and then you have accessible seating in the lower bowl at 2 different levels. So there is ADA seating at each price point for the building.
Total number of seats?
Capacity for basketball and concerts is about 10,000. For hockey, it's about 9,700.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, ADA seats?
About 1% of that.
Okay. So this is about 70 feet down to the bowl from the top seats, about 70 feet down.